And I know this sounds a bit creepy. But an old mouse that gets young blood through the shared circulation looks younger and functions younger in its brain.
The president called for the punishment of those involved in this horrible business. But at the very moment of that speech, DynCorp was exposed for having been involved in the buying and selling of young women and children.
Even conservative estimates conclude that some 20 million people around the world, including right here in the United States, are trapped in human trafficking situations. Terrible circumstances of exploitation, including so many young girls and boys who are victims of unthinkable tragedy of child sex trafficking.
I want to make it clear today that my administration will focus on ending the absolutely horrific practice of human trafficking. People don't know enough about it, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to bring it out into the open.
Allegations of prostitution and pedophilia, and allegations that those crimes were somehow covered up or not looked into. So the State Department this morning is having to respond to those claims.
That a U.S. ambassador, quote, routinely ditches his protective security detail in order to solicit sexual favors from both prostitutes and minor children.
And the allegations are that these investigations were whitewashed, quashed altogether, and that those orders came from high up.
I'm not going to talk about specific cases, but I can say broadly that the notion that we would not vigorously pursue criminal misconduct in any case is preposterous.
A former investigator for the department's inspector general has complained to Congress and the media that the investigations have not been thorough because of the pressure from those high-level officials.
This is a painting from the 16th century. It shows the famous fountain of youth. If you drink its water or you bathe in it, you will get health and youth. And I repeat, an old mouse that gets young blood through the shared circulation looks younger and functions younger in its brain.
Mr. Secretary, is it policy of the U.S. government to reward companies that traffic in women and little girls?
54 boys and girls aged 11 to 18 were ushered in for what had been billed as a sex party. They were given candy and drinks and told to wait in this small room.
This little 11-year-old boy, I remember, he asked one of my operatives if they could give him some cocaine or something. He said, they usually give me something because I'm really scared.
Dat was het breekpunt. Kinderen.
Oké. Dat werd je gevraagd?
Ja, ik kon het niet.
25 Colombian special operatives stormed the party. The victims, 29 of whom are under 18, were evacuated, given medical exams, and placed in a rehabilitation center where specialists are working to undo the damage.
Right before I got in the boat, we had to walk by this room where the kids were, and they put their hand up. And I touched their hand and see that there's liberation now.
Liberating one child at a time.
They need to be held accountable for their actions and their crimes against humanity.
Let's talk about the McMartin case.
Abused survivors from all over our planet, especially children, have been ignored far too long.
The only way we're going to stop pedophilia and the murder of children is by educating the public so the governments are forced to do their job.
And we'll be right back.